Welcome back to the Cleethorpes Airshow. Coming up, the latest RAF jet, the Typhoon, will be taking to the skies. We'll meet the artist commemorating 70 years since the legendary Dambuster raid, and James Bond comes to town with a display from the gyrocopter. I'm standing at the brand new memorial gate dedicated to the men and women of the Armed Forces and Merchant Navy who fought and gave their lives during the Second World War. Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire have a strong affiliation with the RAF, and thousands of missions took off from airstrips and bases across the region, with many aircrew and their aircraft never to return. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight was formed in 1957 as a reminder of the 544 aircrew killed in the Battle of Britain and the 55,573 people killed during Bomber Command operations. Today we'll see the legendary Lancaster bomber flying across the sea, escorted by the Spitfire and Hurricane. But first, we went to meet the team and find out about their role as the nation's heritage flight.
The role that the BBMF plays within the RAF is it's showing the prospective new employees within the Air Force the difference between the past and the present and also the future. It also gives people a sense of respect of what they're representing. It also promotes the Air Force in a more open light. We're not just this military facade with the barriers down, no one comes in sort of thing. We have members of the public that come into the hangar on a daily basis. The flying season here at BBMF starts from roughly at the end of April, and then we work through all the way through the spring, summer months, all the way up until the end of September time, and that is every weekend and several displays throughout the week. Once the display season finishes at BBMF, literally the day after our last display, the aircraft will be in the hangar and panels will be taken off, and the reason for that is because some components we do have to send away to external contractors. The aircraft go on jacks. Dependent on the amount of hours that the aircraft have flown throughout the season, depends on the depth of servicing they will go into. As you can see on the Lancaster, it's having 2 of its engines removed at the moment, and they're generally over-engineered at the moment because time of war, they weren't expected to last that long. And because they are so old, we over-engineer them, we over-service them. We're carrying out a lot more checks than they would have carried out back in the day. For new parts on this aircraft, it is very difficult to sometimes obtain them. It can be a case of we do have to go out into industry and ask them to make parts up for us from scratch. Alternatively, it can mean as simply searching for a particular part and finding if someone's actually collected it. The Lancaster that we have here, it's never actually saw service during the war. It missed both the victory in Europe and the victory in Japan. It went through various stages throughout its Air Force career, and then fortunately we then received it onto the flight, and here it is today. In the world today there are 2 airworthy Lancasters. However, I believe that the one in Canada is currently not flying due to technical reasons, so we are currently the only airworthy Lancaster in the world. The thing I enjoy most is actually getting hands on with the aircraft. All the engineers here have their own particular favourites, and some like the Lancaster, some like the Hurricane, but my favourite is the Mark II Spitfire. I mean, it's mainly because it's the very first one that I worked on, but it's also the only airworthy Spitfire remaining that actually flew in the Battle of Britain, and it's also the oldest airworthy Spitfire in the world. The reason why it's important to keep these aircraft flying is predominantly because time is moving on. And it just keeps the memory alive of those that did make the ultimate sacrifice, and it's important to remember those.
I'm here with John Fox, a local artist. Hi John, how are you?
Hello, I'm well, thank you.
Good. I mean, this is just a beautiful picture. It's absolutely stunning. So tell me about it.
Yeah, it's a painting to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Dam Busters raid that Cleethorpes Airshow commissioned. It's been produced at Royal Air Force Cranwell, which is where I'm a technical illustrator.
So what is it about painting these specific aeroplanes that makes it so special?
Well, basically, it's a thing about the respect and gratitude that the country owes to these aircraft, and particularly, obviously, the airmen that flew them. These guys that flew this particular one, which was the Dams raid, which is a famous raid, that flew over the east coast here to Germany. The crew were between 19 and 23-year-old.
And what sort of response have you had to the paintings? Has it been positive?
I've had a really good response.
Yeah.
There's been an awful lot of things, celebrations, 70th anniversary celebrations in Lancaster this year.
Yeah.
For the Dams raid, and I was lucky enough to produce all the artwork for the 70th anniversary at Scampton.
Wow, oh my goodness. Well, thank you ever so much for chatting with us today. Well, it's been a fantastic day so far. There's crowds of people enjoying the displays, and coming up, the star of the movie, Memphis Belle, the B-17 Flying Fortress with Sally B takes to the skies. And we'll be finding out what it's like to be a trainee fast jet pilot on the Tucano. See you after the break.